So the dip is right when you start building traction with your business, everything starts breaking. In 2021, I went from 10K a month back down to 3K a month. In 2022, I went from 35K a month back down to 12K a month. In 2023, I went from 65K a month to 38K a month. In 2024, I went from 100K a month back down to 74K a month. And in 2025, I went from $250,000 a month down to $183,000 a month. Now, looking at those metrics, what did you notice? Every single year, I scaled significantly. Now, if I was looking at everything from a month over month basis, I would be freaking out, which I do. I do look at everything from a month over month basis. It's important you get granular, but if you zoom out far enough and you use this long enough time horizon, my business came out on top every single time. And again, every single year, I was growing the business. And we're going to end December at around 300K a month. And that's the thing, is when business gets tough, people start freaking out. And people are pussies. If you see your business start to decline, they're like, oh, that's it, game over. That is so far from the truth. And I want to explain to you in this video why the dip is an absolute necessity for you to grow your business. Now, the dip should really be called the filter, because what it's actually doing is just filtering out everybody that can't hang. It's filtering out all of these people that can't handle these downtimes. And if they just would have stuck around, they would have taken their business to the next level. And I'm speaking from experience here. Every single year I've hit a dip. And a perfect cliche example of this is that meme that I'm sure you've seen 100 times, but it's the cartoon with the guy with the pickaxe who is literally like one axe chop, whatever you want to call it, away from hitting the diamonds. And if you just keep going, you don't lose. The only way you lose is if you quit. And guess what? This dip, every business has it. In 2017, Tesla almost went bankrupt. Their production line was fucked. Their stock price dropped significantly. Then after 2017, they had the greatest run in automotive history. Amazon, Jeffrey, Mr. Bezos. The Wall Street Journal, when Amazon first came out, said that that was a dumb idea. And what they did is they reinvested every single one of their profits into growing the company. And now they're fucking Amazon. They're one of the biggest companies on earth. They're everywhere around the world. And just to make this hit home a little bit more, like those kids on Instagram that you see with the Lamborghinis, I guarantee you when they hit their dip, because they will, because everybody does, they are shitting their fucking pants. Now, the point is, every single business is going to have a down period. They're going to have their own version of the dip. With me, it happens 2 or 3 times a year, and it's just part of the game. And this could be tax season, this could be seasonality, this could be your payment processor broke, this could be your website's down, this could be you overhired. That was my problem in 2025. I hired way too many people, I had to cut back. And it's not if it happens, it's when it happens. And you have to learn how to deal with this. You have to. Now, the good news is the dip, this filter, this happening in your business, it's a good thing. And it's absolutely necessary because it exposes what's broken and it forces you to look at your business holistically from the macro to the micro, get as granular as you possibly can to fix your shit, to fix what's not working. You need to fail to learn. You just have to, because the more times you fail, the more data points you have. And the more data points you have, the more of the puzzle you have built out, because you know what works and what doesn't work. And as soon as you know what doesn't work, great, you fix that. If you know what does work, great, you double down on that. But that's what business is. It's the more at bats you can get, the more shots on goal you can do, the faster you're going to grow your business. An example of this is when you're a dumb kid and you touch the stove for the first time and you burn your finger. Hopefully, you don't touch the stove again because you learned, okay, if I touch something hot, I'm going to burn myself. Bamboo, there's some bamboo over here. You can't see the bamboo over there, but I just ripped this in half, and guess what? It's going to grow back twice as fast. If roses don't get pruned, then they grow weak. You go to the gym to work out your muscles, tear the muscle fibers so they can grow back twice as strong. Like there are countless examples of this, and it's nature itself. And for you to not expect the same thing to happen to your business is for you to go against nature. And I'm not going all woo woo, but there are so many examples of like you have to take 2 steps back so you can go 10 steps forward. It is the game, and it is absolutely part of the process. And so this dip or the filter, it's going to filter out these emotional operators. It's going to reward the people that are disciplined and emotionally strong. And if you can't handle volatility, the filter is going to filter you out. And I don't want to get spiritual here, but it is so important to just practice stoicism or have a religion or have some sort of like grounded morality where you can handle these tough times, because not everybody can handle these tough times well. I mean, for example, if you bought Bitcoin back in 2013, and this isn't an example of business, but this is the perfect example of volatility, and you just held on to it, you rode the wave of it rising and dipping and rising and dipping like 5 or 6 or 7 times, like, dude, you'd be a multimillionaire because you practice calm, you practice discipline, you practice not freaking out when there's volatility. Volatility means there's growth. Volatility means if you can sink super fast, you can grow just as fast as well. It's just about pressing the right buttons. And again, the more data points you have, the more of an understanding of what buttons to push to grow your business. I've had a dip every single year, not only every single year, but probably 3 times a year where things jump up and they go down, and they jump up and they go down. And the reason why I had these dips is because I didn't know what I didn't know, right? I didn't know what a 100K a month business looked like. I didn't know what a 200K a month business looked like. I didn't know what a 300K a month business looked like. And that's why it's so important for you to have a mentor who has actually done what you're trying to achieve. And if you're an agency owner and you're under 300K a month, I'll mentor you one on one because I have been in your shoes, and you can just book a call with me one on one. We'll walk you through it. And if you want me to work with you, I'll happily work with you. But the video is not about that. The video is more for me and for you. If you're struggling, like what's the big one right now? The Andromeda update. Gyms during COVID, they all shut down. Remember iOS 14? Right? There's so many external forces out there that are going to cause you to have a dip. There are also so many external forces out there that are going to cause you to have this astronomical growth at the same time. And again, if you've grown your business to this new level that you've never been to before, you don't know what you don't know, right? And part of getting to these new levels is you just breaking shit, figuring out what works, figuring out what doesn't, and again, just doubling down on what works. Like it's not a hard formula. Like it's easy to just say like double down on what works. What does that actually look like? And the only way you're going to know what that looks like is if you just keep going, 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 going nonstop. And the faster you can test things, the faster you're going to grow. So just to reframe your brain, the dip is an absolute necessity, and the dip is going to filter out the real players from the phonies. Now, if you can survive the dip, which if you're watching this video, I guarantee you you've had a dip 1 or 2 times in your life, right? If you're just building an agency or building a business, it's part of the game. But if you can survive that, you are so much farther ahead of the competition than you think. 1 in 4 businesses fail within the first year. After 5 years, 1 in 2 businesses go broke, right? And I don't say that to discourage you. I say that because it is so important that you build this muscle now, because I'm going to have so many more dips in the future. And guess what? The higher you grow, the more of a dip you're going to have, right? Like from 10K to 3K a month, that sucked really, really bad, but that was only a 7K difference. Now I have dips of like 50K, 60K a month, right? But it's all relative because I'm making more money. And so again, if the dip happens, don't go all doom and gloom. And I'm saying this because I want you to succeed. I want you to grow. And this is just, it's going to happen. It's okay that it happens. It's part of the process. And if you can get over the dip, you're going to grow even further, right? And if I'm going to put a graph right here, if you can just zoom out, you'll see that my business goes up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down, but there's more up than there is down. Growing a business, I promise you, is the hardest thing you will ever do in your life. Harder than any final you've had. It's harder than any homework. I'm not a parent yet, so I can't speak on that, but I talk to parents and they would agree with me. Growing a business is the hardest thing you will ever do in your entire life. And the dip is nature's way of offering you the right to grow your business.